Hi, I'm Kathleen Murphy, and I'm really excited to welcome you to my first episode of Shifting States. I am the Executive Clinical Director of Breathe Life Healing Center. We are a trauma-informed care center that treats a lot of symptoms such as substance abuse disorder, eating disorder, other anxiety and depression. And if you'll notice, I said that we treat the symptoms of the diseases. But really the operative word is that we are a trauma-informed care center, and that means that we are really interested in helping people learn how to go into their heart and begin to live in a way that they're able to access states of peace, of well-being, of loving kindness and care, and navigating life in a way that feels rewarding and meaningful. Often people say, like, well, what is this thing, this trauma? People use the word, everything is a trauma. Is everybody traumatized? Well, in a word, really, no. Everyone isn't traumatized, because if we use the word carelessly, then the word ceases to have meaning. So today I want to talk about what actually we're treating and why I'm surrounded by all these sound instruments and what they have to do with the treatment of trauma. So often when I ask people the question, like, what is trauma? They'll say, oh, it's this event that happened or this terrible thing that happened. But the truth is, trauma really isn't the events that happen to you. They could be, like, for instance, a major car accident, that's an event, child abuse, whether it be physical abuse or sexual abuse or spiritual abuse. Now, those are injuries, but those events in of themselves don't cause what we call trauma. Trauma is an actual wounding to the autonomic nervous system that has meaning. It has replications for all of life. If your nervous system is wounded, it means something for the way that you live. I kind of want to roll back here, and I want to say it's very difficult to understand what a traumatized nervous system is if we don't know what a normally functioning nervous system is. So we have this system that enables us to recognize, are you a friend, are you a foe? Should I stay? Should I go? Should I stop? Should I go? Should I protect myself? Should I be open? But if your nervous system, if the wires are kind of crossed because of this is so hard. If your wires are crossed, if they become wounded in some way, it's difficult to know how to navigate through life. So our main objective at Breathe is really to help people shift from living in a state where you're walking around feeling anxious all the time. If you're anxious all the time, you can't use your body as a resource. Am I anxious because my body is telling me it's time to stop? Am I anxious because that's a signal coming from my body that needs me to slow down, when most of us under anxiety start speeding up and talking more rather than slowing down? Or we look for a Klonopin or a shot of booze or a shot of dope so that we don't have to get in relationship with that sound, so we can keep moving, because we have these thoughts that say, oh, my value and worth is contingent upon me continuing to move and be of value to someone else, or be very successful or whatever. Anxiety is nature's way of telling you that something is wrong. And so it's not the enemy. It's actually a resource. Or if you experience a sensation of fear, which is very different from the sensation of anxiety, when it's in its proper functioning, it's your yellow, like in the street light, it's your yellow signal, caution, stop, pause, look around. Are you potentially in danger? Do you need to assess the situation? Sometimes you need to stop and go in the other direction. But if that system is always on, then it becomes veritably useless to be able to determine how you should interact with your environment. My commitment in this life is to contribute in a meaningful way to the easing of this suffering that comes from these eternal recommencements of becoming injured because we've not been able to use the sensations of the body to give us accurate information about ourselves, each other, and our environment. And it's my lifelong commitment to find ways, even if it means finding things that, well, like these sound instruments. And the first time I told my daughter, for example, I bought a 32-inch pasty gong, and she was like, oh my God, that is kind of funny. So you're going to be sitting around playing this gong. But the deal is that what I have found is that these instruments, these ancient instruments of sound, they have this impact of bypassing the intellectual mind that has us rationalizing, analyzing, intellectualizing, by the way, all ending in lies, and therefore dismissing information about our environment. Well, these instruments of sound, they can actually begin to restore our nervous system so that we can operate in a state of grace and peace. Because when we're calm, then we have clarity. We make better decisions about should I stay or should I go? Should I move forward? Should I apply for that job? So that we're not always stultified by that sensation of fear, that we can utilize it and begin to develop relationships of compassion and kindness to these energies in our body, so that when they arise, they have meaning rather than them being the enemy that we're seeking to get rid of, whether it be using drugs, alcohol, food, or other pharmaceutics. I love the sound of these bowls and this gong. We do these healing sessions for the people that we get to work with. And what it is for some people under the influence of the sound is they experience what it is to feel peace for the first time without even having to go into the story, without ever having to bring up memories that were potentially dysregulating. I'll give you an example, just so that you could hear the sound of just a small singing bowl, and just see if by listening to this, it's just like, just focusing on that sound. Just notice how your attention might come from wide to narrow. Can bring you to a stillness. It's like when you hear that sound, where does your attention go? And for me, what I notice is the sound brings my attention from out here, and it begins to bring it inward. Because often, I had a colleague once, and I saw him sitting in a chair, and he had a public speaking event to do. And said he was scared. And I asked him, well, how do you know you're scared? How do you know that thing that you call fear isn't creative energy that you can be used to create and generate power and art and healing? And he stopped and he said, well, I don't know. And I said, what if we gathered all that energy and just brought it in like this, and we used it like white light so that the energy isn't just vibrating off of you and it becomes useful? And he told me that he had never thought about that before. And so he tried it. And so just like that singing bowl, it brings your energy into one clear sense of like light that you can navigate and project out and about, and use that energy and develop a relationship with the energy so that you can use it to create healing or to be creative in your life, whether it be just to rearrange a room, whether it be to find creative and meaningful ways to interact with others, whether it be to find a new solution to a problem that you have. And this is our interest. It's that we're interested in helping people restore, to become contributors and healers in our own lives, the lives of our families, and then the lives of our communities. Thank you.